Well, I am thrilled that Mirabai is speaking today. Oh, sorry. I'm thrilled Mirabai is speaking today because she's my good buddy, and she's going to talk about the faces of the goddess across all the traditions because she's really good at that. We've talked a lot about that. And through her stories, poetry, and many books, she has done many books. She will reveal the ways in which the sacred feminine reveals herself in Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Judaism, lots of isms, and indigenous ways. Interesting. We claim the wisdom of the great Ma as medicine for our times. And I'm not going to read all the things you've done, because you've done a lot of stuff and written lots of books, and you should read them all. Her newest one is not Wild Mercy, no. It's Ordinary Mysticism, that's later down at the bottom. So get the books, read them, they're really good. And she's going to talk about some of that stuff right now. Welcome, Mirabai.
Ordinary Mysticism is coming out in paperback in a couple of days.
Yay! Hooray, hooray! You can run down to your local opposite book and bookstore and get one.
Thank you, Jenny. Hi, friends. Thank you for coming out today. This is going to be kind of a contemplative journey. I'm going to be reading a short passage from some of the isms dedicated to the sacred feminine. And I'm just going to ask you to listen with your heart and your body.
Okay. There.
So for me, contemplative listening is an embodied practice. It involves kind of sinking in, which Jenny kind of opened the way for already with her beautiful meditation. As you were doing that, I was thinking, I'm sure you thought of this, Jenny, how beautiful it would be. You're so good at these guided meditations and they're very spontaneous, but to weave it with your music, to do another record, weaving your meditations with your music. Have you thought of it? If not, I'm assigning this to you.
Really?
Sorry.
Do I have to?
Wouldn't that be great?
Let me finish the 19th one I'm working on.
Yeah, so this will be number 20. People are always recommending books to me, and I roll my eyes, but every once in a while. Actually, Anne Lamott is the one who told me to do Ordinary Mysticism and kind of gave me an outline. I couldn't not, but other than Anne Lamott and Jenny Bird, I don't really pay attention when people tell me what my next project should be. Or the side eye. I have a friend who does, Christina Cleveland, who's an expert on the Black Madonna, and she has a Black Madonna that she calls Our Lady of the Side Eye, which I totally relate to. Being cynical is not being anti-spiritual. Okay? Okay. So, what we're looking at here is the rising of the feminine energy throughout the world and bubbling up from her hiding places in all the world's great spiritual traditions. And she's been hidden for millennia, and that's not an accident. There was an intentional burying of sacred feminine energy and feminine wisdom because it's threatening to the patriarchy that likes to legislate, let's say, our relationship with the divine. And when I speak about the feminine, I know this goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. I'm speaking about an energy, not a gendered sexual identity or biology. I'm speaking about that energy that lives in people of all genders and that is crying out in all of us to be heard and to be embodied and manifested and poured out into this world right now that urgently needs the qualities of the sacred feminine. That it's getting very, how do I say this? The masculine paradigm is prevailing. It has been for a long time, and it's really strong right now in the world. And I think that's probably a counter response to the rising of the feminine. But it requires all of us, people of all genders, to stand up and speak in her voice and sing in her language. So I'm interested in excavating her across the spiritual traditions. Many people have been doing this, and that's how I'm able to walk through the landscape of the sacred feminine across the world's religious traditions. As a semi-scholar of the world's religions, I've always been interested in her voice, but also in why it's so hard to find. I'm very curious. I've been very curious about that, and I have my theories. I'm sure you do too. But rather than talking about her, I thought I would just read some short passages, starting with Taoism, which is an indigenous tradition, the indigenous sacred tradition of China. And then we'll move through some of the others. So I invite you now to just take a deep breath and ground back into your body. Take root in the earth, what St. Francis so beautifully spoke of as our sister, Mother Earth. Our sister, Mother Earth. And take your place in her. Root yourself and intermingle your roots with hers as I plunge into these beautiful passages. So from the Tao Te Ching, this is a translation by Zhi Fufeng and Jane English. And this is number 6. Stanza 6 of 50, of 60, how many are there?
82.
68. 68. The valley spirit never dies. It is the woman, primal mother. Her gateway is the root of heaven and earth. It is like a veil barely seen. Use it. It will never fail. The valley spirit never dies. It is the woman, primal mother. Her gateway is the root of heaven and earth. It is like a veil barely seen. Use it. It will never fail. Breathe that in. The valley spirit, the mother. The beginning of the Tao Te Ching is the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. And then it goes on to say, the naming is the mother of the 10,000 things. The naming is the mother of the 10,000 things. That when the formless is poured into form, it is through the body of the feminine. Immanence. The transcendent becomes immanent through her. So from Hinduism, this is from the Tantric hymns, Visions of the Goddess and Tantric Hymns of Enlightenment. This book is called Mother of the Universe, translations by Lex Hickson, who was a Sufi teacher. O wisdom goddess, your essence alone is present within every life, every event. Your living power flows freely as this universe. You are expressed fully, even by the smallest movement. Wherever I go and wherever I look, I perceive only you, my blissful mother, radiating as pure cosmic play. Earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness are simply your projected forms. There is nothing else. Ma, 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 your lucid dream of light is the theater of birth and death, the expanse of boundless transparency. This poet can only cry in ecstasy. Green mountains, fragrant blossoms, countless lives on land and beneath the sea, animate beings and inanimate objects are composed of Mother's reality and spontaneously express her will. This poet can only cry in ecstasy. Green mountains, fragrant blossoms, countless lives on land and beneath the sea, animate beings and inanimate objects are composed of Mother's reality and spontaneously express her will. Breathing in and breathing out. Most of the hymns in this collection, these tantric hymns, are to Kali, the goddess, beloved in the Hindu tradition, who is the goddess of transformation. And transformation doesn't happen without death, without a letting go, an annihilation. And so Kali is constantly destroying whatever stands in the way of our transformation. Many of the goddesses are considered to be the dark mothers, and that darkness is brimming with life, with creativity, with fertility. The womb of darkness is the seat of all transformed reality. So these hymns, these tantric hymns to the goddess, are mostly to Kali in the form of the great dark mother. Even the Song of Songs in the in the Hebrew scriptures speaks of the sacred feminine as dark. I am dark and I am beautiful. Or one of my favorite Spanish language songs, La Llorona. Todos me dicen Llorona. No, todos me dicen el negro. Llorona, negro, pero cariñoso. Everyone calls me the dark one, dark and delicious. from Buddhism. Shit. Alright, let's see. Just this one. Yeah, this is right. So this is from the Vietnamese Zen Buddhist tradition, 11th century Vietnam. A woman poet named Lee Ngoc Kyu. She was a Buddhist nun. Birth, old age, sickness, and death. These are what the Buddha recognized in his enlightenment as being the source of our longing, of our deepest yearning, was to get to the bottom of these conditions of impermanence: birth, death, sickness, old age. Birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the beginning, this is the way things have always been. Any thought of release from this life will wrap you only more tightly in its snares. The sleeping person looks for a Buddha. The troubled person turns toward meditation. But the one who knows that there's nothing to seek knows too that there's nothing to say. She keeps her mouth closed. Birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the beginning, this is the way things have always been. Any thought of release from this life will wrap you only more tightly in its snares. The sleeping person looks for a Buddha. The troubled person turns toward meditation. But the one who knows that there's nothing to seek knows too that there's nothing to say. She keeps her mouth closed. The sleeping person looks for a Buddha. The troubled person turns toward meditation. But the one who knows that there's nothing to seek knows too that there's nothing to say. She keeps her mouth closed. Breathing in and breathing out. The mystical way, the way of the mystic, is characterized by paradox. And one of the ways that the kind of masculine paradigm has kept us down, all of us, people of all genders, is by discounting our embodied experience and our desires, our yearning. And we hear it in that echoing throughout Buddhism, the first noble truth. Life is, you could describe life as being filled with pain, discontent, dukkha, the pain of not getting what we want or having things happen that we would rather push away, like craving and aversion. And that's all a matter of ignorance, and that when we kind of wake up, the second noble truth is that this suffering that is throughout life is caused by desire. And the third is that there is a way out of that cycle of pain, and that is to walk the Eightfold Path, to cultivate spiritual practice so that we can presumably rise above desire. And yet the mystics of all the traditions praise desire. Has anyone read Bittersweet by Susan Cain? She was the one who wrote Quiet, about, I can't remember what the great subtitle, I can't remember what it was, about an introversion. And this one is about personality types that thrive on longing and yearning and beauty and all those Enneagram 4 things that I love so much. And so I've been very interested in reclaiming the sacredness of desire rather than trying to transcend it and rise above it. And yet the paradox of the spiritual path is that both are necessary in order to wake up and step up to be of service in this world. That yes, we need to plunge into our humanity and bless it as the sacred experience that it is. And that yearning, as all the great mystic poets, from Rumi to my namesake Mirabai, have asserted, longing is the path to union. And to be both consumed by the fire and also bigger than the fire. This is the call. To be immersed in passion and resting in equanimity at the same time. From the Song of Songs. An enclosed garden is my sister, my bride, a hidden well, a sealed spring. Your branches are an orchard of pomegranate trees, heavy with fruit, flowering henna and spikenard and saffron, cane and cinnamon, with every tree of frankincense, myrrh, and aloes, all the rare spices. You are a fountain in the garden, a well of living waters that stream from Lebanon, Is spikenard how you pronounce that? Yeah, spikenard? Spikenard, okay, thanks. An enclosed garden. So feel the sensuality of this passage. Just let it into your beautiful body. An enclosed garden is my sister, my bride, a hidden well, a sealed spring. Your branches are an orchard of pomegranate trees, heavy with fruit, flowering henna and spikenard and saffron, cane and cinnamon, with every tree of frankincense, myrrh, and aloes, all the rare spices. You are a fountain in the garden, a well of living waters that stream from Lebanon. You are a fountain in the garden, a well of living waters that stream from Lebanon. Breathing in, breathing out. People still wonder what the Song of Songs is doing in the Bible. I can't believe it snuck in there actually myself. It never mentions the G word, God. It is an erotic poem that uplifts the longing of the soul for God and God for the soul. It's a reciprocal relationship. And it also might very well be a description of human love. once again, this is the mystical paradox. It's not only a metaphor for the spiritual journey, it is also a celebration of this fleeting experience of being in a body that gets to encounter other bodies and then loses them again. And that's what the Song of Songs is all about, coming together and separating, and then coming back together. This love dance that is at the core of all the mystical traditions. From Sitaram in Hinduism, and Krishna and Radha, to the Song of Songs in Judaism, to every single Christian mystic I know of, who sings a love song to the divine that is steeped and permeated by love longing. Two more. I had so much fun putting these together for y'all.
Good, I'm glad.
From the Christian tradition, the medieval poet Mechtild of Magdeburg. Effortlessly, love flows from God into human beings, like a bird who rivers the air without moving her wings. Thus, we move in God's world, one in body and soul, though outwardly separate in form. As the source strikes the note, humanity sings. The Holy Spirit is our harpist, and all strings touched in love must sound. Effortlessly, love flows from God into human beings, like a bird who rivers the air without moving her wings. Thus, we move in God's world, one in body and soul, though outwardly separate in form. As the source strikes the note, humanity sings. The Holy Spirit is our harpist, and all strings touched in love must sound. The Holy Spirit is our harpist, and all strings touched in love must sound. Hildegard of Bingen, another medieval Christian visionary, speaks of the Holy Spirit as feminine. It's just obvious to Hildegard. And Hildegard very casually blends the Holy Spirit with Mother Mary, with Sophia, Holy Wisdom, and Mother Earth. They're all the same for Hildegard. That feminine reality that is music, that is creativity, that is manifestation and verdancy, fecundity. And is not meek and mild. This is a version of the feminine that is fierce and passionate and uncompromising. So when we speak of these feminine qualities that live in all of us, some of those qualities are gentleness, tenderness, unconditional mercy and forgiveness. And some of them are fierce truth-telling, speaking truth to power, burning down the boundaries that separate us from each other and from reality, and will protect us at all costs, from ourselves mostly. All right, this last poem piece is from the Sufi tradition, the mystical branch of Islam. I'm so excited about this new collection. Have I told you about this, Jenny? Okay, this new translator, Hale Liza Ghafouri. Have any of you heard of this? Oh my gosh, gotta check her out. She's Iranian, so she's a Farsi speaker, and she's translating from the original Persian, the finest new translations of Rumi I've ever seen. So her first book was called Gold, and the second one is Water. And I've read them all during my morning meditations, and I'm just obsessed, as you can see, with all the markings in this book. And this poem is for my beloved Jenny Bird. Give the musicians honey.
Yay!
God, 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 give the drummers iron hands. They devoted their hands and feet to love. Give strength and health to their hands and feet. Praising sound, praising creation, they sow joy. Praise their efforts, applaud the harvest. Fill their cups as streams flowing through paradise. Their melodies water our thirsty hearts. In their longing, doves coo, singers chant, the empty sky sings. Build the musicians a sturdy tower, stone upon stone, grace upon grace. Give the musicians honey. God, 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 give the drummers iron hands. They devoted their hands and feet to love. Give strength and health to their hands and feet. Praising sound, praising creation, they sow joy. Praise their efforts, applaud the harvest. Fill their cups at streams flowing through paradise. Their melodies water our thirsty hearts. In their longing, doves coo, singers chant, the empty sky sings. Build the musicians a sturdy tower, stone upon stone, grace upon grace. So breathing in this beautiful, sensual, embodied, fierce, mystical poetry of the sacred feminine. Let it change you. Dare to let it transform you. To blow open those closed gates. Take a risk that you may, as my old Sufi teacher used to say, never recover. May you never recover. Thank you.